But when I started figuring out in the Bible, I found out why. I didn't have to wonder no more. Because wherever you at, once God cursed this people, you're going to be cursed. So he said, they shall be upon thee for a sign. They what? The curse is going to be on you for a sign. And what else?
And for a wonder.
And how long?
And upon thy seed forever.
See, that means it's going to last to the end of time. The world going to end. You still going to be cursed. That's when God going to change it. Jesus himself got to change. Remember, Jesus said he was only sent to the lost sheep of Israel, right? Right. That means he concerned with the predicament of Israel, and he going to rectify it one day. That's the good news. He going to change it. But he ain't going to change it to the end, not till he make his second coming. He said, they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder. So in other words, the only way you can identify who Israel is, they don't know who they are. Everybody has lost sight of that. But the curses are on them. So you got to look at the sign. What's the sign of the curse? You see who've been scattered in bondage everywhere. Not just in America, all over the world. You find the people who everywhere they at as a people, they got there in slavery. And you find the people who, like he said, who had to work for free. Who had to, the master just slept with their wives. You find the people who sharecropped and built for nothing. Then you found the real Israel. And they're going to be a black people everywhere you find them at. You can go to the islands. You can go to Haiti. It don't matter. You can go to Europe and you find some. It's going to be the same thing. There's a lot of Israelites in Britain. They went through the same thing. So he said, look, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder. And a wonder means you won't wonder like I used to wonder why. Why the heck this happened? Why this happened? Why this happened? But they're going to be on you. Now, skip down to verse 63. We're going to try to wrap it up. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to rejoice and to bring you to naught.
I wish somebody tell people that the Lord will do this. See, people don't know that God will operate like this. So that's why they benign to all this. This don't make no sense to them because they don't even believe God would do stuff like this. But the Bible is telling you this is how God operates. Look, God flooded the whole world when he got mad. So this ain't nothing, is it? So he's telling you, he said, just like, see, the Lord want to do you good, but you got to do what the Lord wants you to do so he can do you good. And if you don't, the Lord would do you bad. That's what he's telling you here, right? And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice. You mean the Lord is happy to do this to us? That's what he been. He been getting him some revenge. He said, because remember at the beginning, we read God said, Israel is the only people I know, so I'm going to punish you for your way. See, God showed us what we should have been about. And since we went against him, want to do everything differently, he said, I got to pay you for that. So the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. Go ahead.
And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it.
See, they was on their way to the promised land. God already telling them you're going to get plucked off of that land, which is what happened in the future. Verse 64, where you going to end up in the end?
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Oh, you're not just in one place. The Lord have scattered Israel. Among where all people, go ahead.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And you scattered and you serving false gods among all the places where God has scattered. See, this is not pretty and nice, but it's in the Bible for a reason. He wants you to know this. Now you can recognize what's been going on. See, this is some real history before it even started. But go ahead, verse 65.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
See, when you get scattered out, you're going to be on the bottom. You ain't going to find no rest. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of mind.
See, you always going to have to be on the lookout more than any other people around you. You got to be concerned. You got to be on the lookout. Because you will get killed just like that and won't nobody really care. Verse 68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
See, now Egypt meant slavery, And that's how Israel was going to end up going out into slavery again, even on slave ships. Now they got pictures of slave ships. They know that Israel, that people came to this country and other places on slave ships, right? It's just like we went on a little vacation to the Bahamas, and there was a girl, we were just trying to get some free food. So we went to them little timeshare places. And we ain't had no money to buy no timeshare. But they want to treat you to some free food, to look at one. I said, okay, I go look. We give you a free meal. And there was a sister, she was showing us a timeshare. And we said, we told her, we ain't going to buy it. You ain't really got to go through the spiel. We just wanted some free meal. And finally I asked her, I said, well, how y'all people get over? I knew already. I just wanted to hear it. She looked at me like I was crazy. I said, how y'all people get over here to the Bahamas? She looked at me like, are you crazy? On them ships like you got over there to America, on them ships. So she understood. And this is what he's telling you here. The Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. That's talking slavery, slave ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
See, but when you go on them slave ships, what's going to happen when you get to that place, when you get to your destination? It wasn't for no pleasure cruise you went on them ships, was it? You didn't come on, like what Malcolm X said. He said you didn't come on Plymouth Rock or whatever. But, because it wasn't no pleasure cruise, was it? So you went on ships, and what happened when you got there?
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
See, they wasn't partial. They didn't just make the men slaves either, did they? He said, there you're going to be sold unto your enemies for what?
Bondmen.
That's a male slave, right? What's the other one?
And bondwomen.
That's a female slave, right? We ain't got to be smart to understand that. 2 slaves, male and female, and then how long you going to be there, or who going to ever come get you out of that predicament? See, we going to be where you got sold at as a people. You going to be there till Jesus come get you. Ain't no leader. Marcus Garvey rose up. He started talking about, look, we need to go back to Africa. Where you go? You ain't went nowhere, have you? No, and ain't nobody from Africa never came looking for you. Not yet. Nobody that say, my people got sold over there. I want to buy them back all this year. They ain't came yet. You can give up now. Because he told you here you're going to be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And who going to get you out of that predicament? No man shall buy you. That means nobody going to get you out of it. Go to Joel 3. We're going to start to wrap it up. Joel 3. See, again, this is in the Bible because God wants you to know. He wants you to understand what he has done so you can recognize. And he's going to be the one fix it in the end. See, when you understand this, you ain't got to be mad at people, blaming people. That's why we don't blame people. We don't say, well, the white man done this to. No, I say God done it to us. For our disobedience. We got some responsibility. Our forefathers knew God and they went against God. So God did what he said he was going to do. Joel 3:1. But now it ain't going to last forever. That's the good news. God is going to get Israel from bondage in the end. That's what this is all about in the end. Joel 3:1. Go ahead.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
See, this is future. This haven't happened yet. But God is telling you here, it's going to come a time he going to basically say like he sent Moses. Remember, he sent Moses into Egypt and told Pharaoh, let my people go, right? Well, he's going to do the same thing. That's the good news. As sure as we went on slave ships into bondage, that's as sure as God going to redeem us from this situation one day. You can bet your last money on that. That would be a shame for people to go into slavery, lost who they are, and never go home. Boy, if I thought that was the case, I'd go back drinking wine on the corner. Because that's a shame. You don't have nothing to look forward to. You're going to always be a slave in somebody else's country and never know even where home is. Never know you got a homeland like everybody else. That's a shame. Just like when I used to deliver stuff to certain places, I had a place where a bunch of Polish people work, a lot of Polish people, and they be talking about it, they be talking stuff about, and I joke with them too, talking about, yeah, the old country, how it is in the old country. I went over to the old country last week. See, but they figure I didn't know nothing about no old country for me. But I did. That's why I ain't had no problem with them talking about it. Because I know just like they got an old country, I got an old country. Everybody got to have an old country, right? Everybody got some history where they came from. But as far as we concerned right now, we don't know it as a whole, do we? But everybody got it. So he said here in the end, he's talking about when he bring Israel back. He said at verse 1, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Notice Judah is always associated with being in captivity, slavery. And that's where he got to bring us back from. We went into slavery, he got to bring us back one day. And he going to do it. That's what he's talking about right here. He going to bring again the ones that went into captivity from Judah and Jerusalem. But when he do it, he going to have to fight the whole world to do it. See, most people don't know this is at the top of Jesus' agenda when he come back. It's at the top of his agenda. Don't think it's not. He said he was only sent to Israel when he came the first time, right? That's right. So you think he done gave up on Israel now? Look, he couldn't finish it because he had to die the first time for the sins of Israel and everybody else that believed. So he going to complete it when he make his second coming. So what did he say? Read verse 2 again.
I will also gather all nations.
See, this is Armageddon he talking about right here, brothers. He going to gather all nations. And what he going to do?
And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
See, that's Armageddon. Another name is where Jehovah judged. That's Jehoshaphat. But go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel.
Oh, he gonna deal with them for Israel, his own people. And what has happened to Israel? See, God was punishing us, but see, people can go overboard and think the punishment never gonna end. That's where you mess up at. Just like God let Pharaoh do all that stuff to Israel and Egypt, right? But finally, he sent Moses. Time was up, wasn't it? That's right. Pharaoh didn't want to listen, though, did he? Because Pharaoh got used to being Lord and them being slaves. See, that's the way the Gentiles are now. Now, they think it's going to be like this forever. The Gentiles got in for a rude awakening. And the Gentiles that's smart, they're going to be on the right side of the tracks. Because they're going to know that, hey, God is in control of this. So he said he's going to plead with them for his people and for his heritage Israel, whom they've done what?
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
See, now God put it on them. God allowed it, but see, they still did it. God might allow a brother to stick me up in the street and take everything I got, including my shoes. God might allow him to do that. Maybe he's mad at me. He might allow that, but don't think God ain't going to get the stick up, man. He going to bust him upside the head too. So that's how God would do it. He knew he was a stick-up man. He said, look, I need you to punish Elijah. Elijah did something stupid. He going to let Satan tell him, go stick Elijah up. Take even his shoes. Make him walk home barefooted. So a stick-up man to do that to me. But then eventually the stick-up man got to pay. So this is what God is saying here. He said, look, for he going to get the people down there and he going to plead with them for his heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted his land. So we scattered in slavery and they just parted our land and split it up. Now you got people fighting over. Don't you know the Arabs and the so-called Jews, because they're not the real Jews, don't you know they both know the land is not theirs? Why you think the Arabs fighting them tooth and nail for some land? If they knew it was theirs, they'd give up. But they said, we got just as much as right to it as you got. We going to fight even when they didn't have no bombs. They was throwing bricks for the land. So they fighting over it. Because they agreed to split it up, but now they can't even keep the deal. They can't even keep the agreement. That's what he means, parted my land at the end of verse 2. But what have they done to us? Because we went into captivity, right? So what have they done to Israel? This is God talking about what has happened to Israel. This black people that's cursed by him. Verse 3.
And they have cast lots for my people.
Oh, they cast lots for God's people, right? What do cast lots mean? That means they got all kind of show you where they used to put Israel on auction blocks and they had flyers going around, Negroes for sale, color, whatever they called you. People for sale on this date. Meet me here. We're going to be selling us some Negroes. And so they put you on auction blocks, right? Well, that's what he said. They have cast lots for my people. And what else?
And have given a boy for an harlot.
Uh-huh.
And sold a girl for wine that they might drink.